Hi everyone, welcome to Moving to Australia with Amitava Deb. This is your co-host Arun Belur, and in the studio I'm joined by Amitava Deb himself. Amitava, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Arun. Good afternoon. How is everyone here? It's a sunny afternoon today in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah, how's your day been so far?
It has been busy. Yes. I had a quick lunch and it has been non-stop.
Yeah, you've been on too many calls, back to back.
Yes, and non-call work as well.
Okay, so let's dive right into the episode. Tell us a bit about yourself and when did you move to Australia and why did you pick Australia?
Well, I came to Australia in 1989. It was through a campus interview. I was studying at IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur, India. It's one of the good institutes there. And I was selected. I came here. Little did I know there was an option for migration. I didn't even know what was migration in those days. But subsequently, after moving here, after getting used to the lifestyle, I saw the place transition to a diverse, multicultural area. No? So, what made me move to migration? My background was IT. I have been leading IT organizations for a while. And in doing so, I have seen various types of people come to Australia for various reasons. Some come here to do their little bit of work as part of IT projects from India. Others come here on working holidays. Some of my friends got married. They want their partners to come from India. So I thought, well, maybe I should help them because they've been asking me. And I did not know what the answer was going to be. I did not want to take a guess. But at the same time, migration was a topic close to my heart because I was born to migrant parents. Hence, I chose migration. To do that, I had to first qualify myself as a migration agent. I studied migration law and practice, passed the exams, did all the needful, and in 2004, I started DMS. That was almost 19 years ago?
Yeah, 19 years ago.
Time flies.
So, tell us a bit about what Debika Migration Services does.
Okay. So what we do here, Arun, is that different people have different needs. Some people want to move here permanently. Others want to come here for work, for working holiday, to study. So we assist people in making their choices and we help them, provide them with an option which is best suited to their intention.
All right. So how does one go about engaging services from Debika Migration if they plan to move to Australia, that is?
For PR? For permanent residents? Okay.
For work, PR, studies?
So let's take work. PR. PR is the biggest category for migration. A lot of people move here for better lifestyle, better work-life balance, and so on. And many people from US are moving increasingly to Australia because it is taking a ridiculously very, very long time to get a green card. In Australia, you could effectively get a citizenship in 4 years if you do it right, if you follow the steps properly.
That's correct.
So, how can I help or how can they find me? Well, my website is dmsmigration.com. They can go to the website and register an interest. There's a form to fill. And we are on social media as well, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Yeah.
Links to all the social media website will be in the description of the podcast. So tell us a bit about your clients. You've been in this business since 2004.
Yeah.
So do you have a diverse range of clients from all over the world?
Oh, well, since I have an Indian background, naturally I have a large chunk of Indian origin client base, mostly from India, 80% of them, but remaining 20 are from all over the world. And I counted all the different countries of origin of passport, and there were about 25 countries in my database. And some of the countries I didn't even know until they approached me. For example, what was it? Moldova. I know. Yeah, I know. I should know. That shows I'm poor in geography, but it is what it is.
So, what's your opinion about why most people choose Australia over Canada or the United States or Germany or France? Because there's been such a huge influx of skilled migrants in the last couple of years, ever since the border opened after COVID.
Well, I think I should refrain from comparing with other countries. I can only say why Australia is good.
Yeah?
Yeah, Australia politically is very stable. Economy is booming. Diverse ethnic groups are there in Australia. And when you talk about the Indian subcontinent, it's only 4.5 hours time difference. So you have more overlapping time for communicating with your folks back there.
Yeah.
And the economy, as I can see, I have seen over the last 30 odd years, a lot of things, everything in a positive direction. A lot of changes.
So most of the people who engage your services, do they use the skilled migration pathway to move here permanently?
Majority, I would say, again, 75% would be skilled migrants.
Okay.
Others would be business migrants. Business migrants means people who are business people. They come here to establish their business, or high net worth individuals. So they want to move to a more peaceful country for spending the rest of their lives. Yeah. And then we have global talent visa, innovation visa. So Australia is attracting talents. So if someone think they have the talent to contribute, Australia is the place. And I consider myself as a catalyst. I'm actually helping Australian government by choosing the right people to move here.
So here's a question that I've been thinking about. Why would one want to choose a migration agent? Why can't I just go about the immigration process myself?
Of course. Anyone can do it. It's not rocket science. You can go into the internet. Everything is available. But then it's quite complex. It can be overwhelming.
When you say complex, in what way?
Oh, there are so many processes, so many stages, so many occupations to choose from, so many visa categories. Which one is the right one for me is the question a lot of my clients come and ask. A lot of my clients do homework and then they come and say, I think this is the right one. And I say, no. So I'll tell you something. My background being IT, I keep saying that again and again. Earlier, I used to architect solutions in the IT industry. Now I architect solutions for the potential migrant. So you have an objective, you have a choice to make. You want certain things. And I say, okay, let me help you. So we do a discovery session. That's a Zoom call with me or one of my team members. We do a 1-hour Zoom call and we discover together. I help identify the options that might be available, which at the end of the day, at the end of the call, they may not want to pursue because it may not be for them. So, before someone commits a lot of money and effort, they need to make an informed decision.
Okay. So let's just rewind back a little bit. You did mention that a large chunk of your clients choose the skilled migration pathway to move to Australia. Mm-hmm. So if someone was to follow that, what would be the immigration process like?
Okay, so the first step would be to do to select an occupation based on their education and background. Once an occupation is chosen from the list of occupations which aligns with their background, we need to get a certification, and that is known as skills assessment from the experts. The Department of Home Affairs, they're not the experts in every single occupation. So there are all these professional bodies like Australian Computer Society, Engineers Australia, Teachers, AITSL, Teachers Association, Medical Board. So they are the experts in their respective domains. So one has to get their skills and education and experience approved by the respective professional body. So that is skills assessment. Very important step. point number 1. Number 2, you have to lodge an expression of interest. And there could be expression of interest for general category, for every state where your occupation is listed, and so on. So once the expression of interest is lodged, you might be pre-invited by a state, or if you haven't applied to the state, you'll be invited directly by the Home Affairs. Once invited, you submit the documentation. The respective bodies will check the documentation and ask you to apply to the state, or if you received a direct invitation, you apply to the government, the Home Affairs, through their IMI portal for the visa application. So that's stage number 3. After the visa application, it goes through a long queuing process. There are a lot of applications in the queue, depending on the workload. Usually it takes about 6 to 12 months. During that period, one has to complete their police checks and medicals, and then the visa grant happens.
And is there a deadline after the visa has been granted that they have to enter the country?
Yes, usually they say you have to make your initial entry within a year, and then the re-entry permission is given for 5 years. What it means is that the permanent residence does not expire. If you come to Australia, you do not wish to leave and go back to any other country, nothing expires. But if you wish to leave the country and come back, make a short trip abroad or overseas, as they call in Australia. If you wish to go overseas, you need the re-entry visa, which initially is for 5 years.
Now, we've seen a lot of massive layoffs in the IT sector, especially Microsoft, Amazon, Google, which they announced in the last several months. Now, if someone with a background in software engineering is planning to move with his family or her family to Australia, do you advise them to first come alone and then seek employment and then bring in their family?
It is probably always advisable to come alone first. And it depends on individual circumstances. Some may decide to bring the family. Others may decide to come and find a job first. So I don't think there is any answer to that. I've seen many who have come with their families and they have settled. Usually it takes about 2 to 3 months to find a job of your choice. But it may vary depending on where you are, what your background is, and so on.
Okay, sounds good. I know you're pressed for time. We can't get into the weeds of every little visa that's available out there. Like, as you mentioned, there's about 120 plus visas. So in the coming weeks, we can go over them in detail.
Yes.
So for today, that's a wrap, I guess. Thank you for your time.
No, thank you.
It was a pleasure talking to you, Amitava.
Thank you, Arun.
So if anybody wants to get in touch with Amitava, you can do so on LinkedIn. You can get in touch with Debika Migration Services on Facebook and Instagram, or visit their website at www.dmsmigration.com. You can also find us on YouTube. This podcast would be available on all major podcast services like Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music. Thank you guys. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.